Real people, real confessions, the stories you weren't supposed to hear. Welcome to Beyond Reddit Stories. If I had known what kind of person he truly was, I would have walked right past his dying body and never looked back. I didn't just save a stranger's life, I saved a monster, and that single decision haunts me every damn day. I always believed that saving someone's life would feel heroic, that it would be this defining moment where you step into the light, where you're suddenly the kind of person others look up to. You see it in movies, in viral news clips, someone pulls another human being from the edge of death, and the world claps. Everyone wants to believe they'd do the same if given the chance. That chance came to me on a regular Wednesday, in the most unremarkable parking lot outside a gas station just off the highway. I was on my lunch break from my job at the auto parts store, sitting in my car, eating a cold sandwich and scrolling through my phone. I wasn't looking to be a hero. I wasn't even really paying attention to the world outside. Then I heard it screeching tires, a heavy thud, and the unmistakable sound of metal crumpling. I looked up and saw the blur of a motorcycle spinning out, and a man launched off it, skidding across the pavement like a rag doll. The bike slammed into a guardrail, parts flying. For a split second, everything froze. And then I was running. I don't remember deciding to move. I just remember my feet hitting the pavement, my heart pounding in my ears. By the time I got to him, the guy maybe mid-30s, tattoos down both arms, leather jacket torn up the side, wasn't moving, blood pooled under his head. His eyes were open but glassy. I knelt beside him. He was breathing, barely, gurgling, maybe. I checked his pulse. It was there, faint and unsteady. A few other people had gathered, standing uselessly in shock. Someone finally called 911. And me, I stayed with him. I put my hoodie under his head. I talked to him, kept him conscious as best I could. "I'm not gonna let you die here," I said. I meant it. That moment, it felt right. Like I was doing what any decent human would do. Like maybe, finally. I was more than just some guy selling brake pads and spark plugs. I was somebody who mattered. The paramedics showed up fast. They took over. I stepped back, covered in blood, my hands shaking. One of them looked at me and nodded like I did something brave. I didn't know the man's name. I never even got a thank you. But for days after, I walked around with this weird glow inside me, like I'd made a difference, like I'd done something pure, until I found out who he really was. And that's when everything changed. It took almost a week before I learned his name. The local news ran a short segment titled, "Good Samaritan Saves Biker After Brutal Crash." They didn't mention me by name, but I recognized the shot of the scene, my hoodie still crumpled under his head, stained red. The biker's name was Travis Grayson. It sounded familiar, in a way I couldn't place. I shrugged it off. Maybe he was just someone I'd seen around town. I live in a pretty average-sized city, big enough that you don't know everyone, but small enough that familiar faces still happen. What caught my attention more was the GoFundMe page linked in the article. His family had started it to help cover his medical expenses and support his recovery journey. The photo they used showed Travis in a hospital bed, hooked up to wires and machines, looking fragile. The caption read, "Father, brother, fighter." They painted him like a local hero who'd fallen on hard luck. And the donations poured in, thousands of dollars in just days. I even considered donating myself. I mean, I'd saved the guy, maybe helping with his recovery felt like closing the loop. But something held me back. A gut feeling, a shadow I couldn't name. That feeling didn't go away. It started with little things. A coworker at the shop mentioned Travis in passing, saying, "Isn't that the guy who got busted a while back? Something with stolen bikes." I froze. "Wait, what?" He looked at me like I'd been living under a rock. "Yeah, Travis Grayson, dude's trouble. Used to run with the Clutch Kings before they fell apart. Real scumbag, if you ask me." I went home and started digging. What I found made my stomach twist. Travis had a record, a long one: grand theft auto, possession with intent to distribute, assault, multiple charges, most of them pled down. He'd served time more than once. His name popped up in old articles about local gang activity, and not the kind of gang that kept to themselves, violent, reckless, deeply connected to other crimes. He wasn't just some guy who liked motorcycles. He was the kind of man whose brothers had burned down a rival's garage with someone still inside. Suddenly, the crash didn't feel so random. Suddenly, I wondered if the person I saved had been running from something or someone. But the worst part, he knew I was the one who saved him. A few days after the article ran, I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't know. No profile picture. Just, "You saved Travis. Respect." That was it, but the tone chilled me. Then another one, "You a biker too, or just want to play hero?" I blocked the account, but it didn't stop there. I started noticing a black SUV parked down the block from my apartment some nights. Never there long, always with someone inside, engine idling, watching. Once, I came out of the grocery store and saw a sticker on my windshield. It was the Clutch King's old logo, faded but unmistakable. I didn't tell anyone. Who could I tell? I saved someone's life, and now I think a gang's keeping tabs on me that doesn't exactly land well. The worst moment came when I ran into Travis himself by complete accident. Or maybe it wasn't. It was in the parking lot of a strip mall. I was leaving a hardware store. He was leaning against a motorcycle different from the one that wrecked, but still mean-looking, matte black, low growl in the engine. He saw me before I could duck back inside. "Hey," he said, "you that guy? The one who pulled me out?" I nodded, slowly. He smiled, wide, too wide. "You got a good heart. Not many like you left." He laughed, like we were old friends. "You ever need something? You come find me. Yeah." And then he got on the bike and roared off. I stood there for a long time after, trying to convince myself that everything was fine. But I knew it wasn't. I had saved a life, but had I endangered my own? You ever have one of those nights where you feel like something is off before it even starts? That was me 2 months after I saved Travis Grayson's life. It started with a knock at my door, not loud, not frantic, just deliberate, controlled. It was 11:47 p.m. I don't open my door that late, not where I live. But I was wide awake, too much coffee, too many thoughts, and my curiosity got the better of me. When I peeked through the peephole, no one was there. But down the hallway, I caught a glimpse of a boot turning the corner. It was the start of the longest night of my life. The next morning, my car's tires were slashed. All 4. A small note under the wiper read, "Should have let him die." No signature, no context, but I knew exactly what it meant. I reported it to the police, filed a report. They said they'd look into it, which, in my neighborhood, means don't hold your breath. Still, I hoped it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. I started getting phone calls in the middle of the night, no number, just silence. And then one night, a voice. Raspy, cold. "You picked the wrong man to save." That was it. Click. I couldn't live like that, so I did what I should have done from the beginning. I confronted him. I found out where Travis hung out an old garage converted into a clubhouse on the edge of town. I knew it was a bad idea. I went anyway. He was there, surrounded by guys who looked like they ate rebar for breakfast. But he waved them off when he saw me, smiled like I was some long-lost buddy. "You didn't like the sticker," he said casually, as if we were catching up over beers. I snapped. "You think this is a joke? You think scaring me, slashing my tires, calling me in the middle of the night is funny?" He blinked, genuinely surprised. "I didn't send anyone." That threw me. He leaned in, voice low. "You saved me. That means something, oddball. I don't forget that, but not everyone feels the same." I asked him what he meant. He just looked at me and said, "You interfered with something bigger than you know." That night, I couldn't sleep. I combed back through everything I'd found. The names in old news articles, the comments on the GoFundMe page, the faces in those photos. And then it hit me. Travis was supposed to die. I wasn't just a guy who stopped a tragedy, I was the guy who prevented a message from being sent. His gang, or maybe someone he double-crossed, they were making a statement, that crash. It wasn't an accident, it was an execution. And I ruined it. I saved someone who wasn't meant to be saved. But the worst realization came days later. I was watching the news background noise, mostly when a story came on. Local man arrested in connection to triple homicide outside of Dallas. They showed the mugshot. Travis Grayson. Apparently, after his recovery, he'd traveled, reconnected with old friends. Police linked him to a string of violent incidents across state lines. The man I dragged out of a crash had become something darker, bolder, and I helped give him that second chance. I turned off the TV, sat in silence for a long time. I thought about the blood on my hoodie. The moment, I pressed on his chest, forcing breath back into him. And I asked myself if I had known then what I know now, would I have still saved him? Weeks passed, then months, but I couldn't move on. Every time I heard about a crime on the news, a home invasion, a shooting, a robbery, I flinched, wondering if Travis had something to do with it, wondering if I'd unknowingly enabled it. I started avoiding mirrors, not because I couldn't look at myself, but because I was afraid I'd start justifying it, telling myself that I didn't know, that it wasn't my fault. But deep down, I knew I had made a choice, a very human one. I saw a dying man, and I acted. It didn't matter that he was a stranger, or that he might have deserved whatever fate was coming for him. In that moment, I only saw someone who needed help. That part still feels noble, I guess. But now I carry this twisted guilt not because I saved a life, but because of whose life I saved. There's a certain irony in all this. When you save someone, people treat you like a hero, but no one tells you what to do when that person turns out to be the villain. I kept replaying the crash, that moment when his eyes opened again, when he gasped for air. He never said thank you, not once. Maybe he thought I owed it to him. Or maybe in his mind, I was just another idiot who got in the way. A few weeks ago, I found another note, taped to the inside of my mailbox this time. You don't know what you've done. That's all it said. But the handwriting was different from the last one. I took it to the cops again, they shrugged. It could have been Travis. Or someone else. Or maybe it was just a sick prank. I don't even know anymore. But what haunts me now isn't fear. It's the uncertainty. What if I hadn't stopped? What if I just walked away? Would someone else be alive today? Would a family be whole? Would 3 people in Dallas still be breathing? I think the worst part is knowing I'll never get those answers. There's no undo button, no closure, just silence, and the weight of one choice echoing louder with every passing day. So I guess I'll leave you with this. If you were in my shoes standing over a dying man, no time to ask questions, no way to know who he was. Would you have done the same? Would you still save him? If this story made you feel something, anger, confusion, sorrow, or even just that lingering discomfort, you're not alone. Some decisions don't have clean endings. Some stories never give you peace. But talking about them, that's how we understand ourselves and each other a little better. If this made you think, leave a comment. Would you have saved him? And if you want more stories that make you question right and wrong, that stay with you long after the video ends, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Because the next story might just be yours.